What's up, everybody? It's Pallet Town Smeargle back for another TCG Tuesdays. I know we had the product opening earlier today, but I thought we'd get another video on here, another deck profile at least, just to get these out here. And this is going to be a double deck profile, so it's going to be a little bit longer of a video, but it's going to feature two decks in the same video because they both revolve around this bad boy right here, Giratina EX. These are two variants of the deck I'm testing out in order to take to states in a couple of weeks. So, without further ado, this is the first variant of that deck, and this is Giratina Fairies. This is something that I think it would work really, really well. And we're going to jump right into the Pokemon lineup here. That's going to be 3 Giratina EX. This is your main attacker for the deck. He is the heart and soul of this deck. Chaos Wheel is such a hard attack to get through, and with Mega Manectric being really popular, Renegade Pulse is kind of nice to have that protection against Megas. We've got 2 Shaman EX for setup and draw. Pretty self-explanatory. We have 1 Hydreigon EX. Now, it's just 1 Hydreigon EX because we are going to be playing the Fairy Guardian Stadium. Hydreigon EX is simply in here to handle things like Jolteon EX or Regice or Jirachi, things that we can't normally hit through because of their ability. Shred lets us hit through that. We also play 2 copies of the Geomancy Xerneas in order to get our energy acceleration on. It's really nice to lead with this card, and it's a good first attacker to set up. Next, we're playing a 3/3 line of Spritzy Aromatisse. It doesn't matter what Spritzy you're playing, but the Sweet Scent one can be nice to be able to heal if you have to. But yeah, and then Aromatisse is here for Fairy Transfer. Nothing, too special about Fairy Wind, but Fairy Transfer is the main reason it's in here. On to supporters, we play 4 copies of Professor Sycamore. It's the best draw supporter in the format until N gets reprinted. So Professor Sycamore is the best right now. You got to run 4 of him. Playing 2 copies of Lysander. We're bumping everything back up to 2 copies of Lysander because Jolteon's a thing, and Jolteon's really hard to get around, so you might as well Lysander up other things and worry about it then. 1 Hex Maniac to shut down opposing abilities. Judge for Shuffle Draw and Disruption, again until N gets reprinted. And 1 copy of Pokemon Fan Club because you have a lot of pieces in this deck. Fan Club can help you get them out. Items, pretty self-explanatory. 4 Ultra Ball to be able to search out our Pokemon. 4 Versus Seekers, get our supporters back. 4 copies of Max Elixir in order to help power up our Giratina. This is the reason why I think this deck is really, really good again. Is being able to power up your Giratina with Max Elixirs is awesome. 3 copies of Trainer's Mail to dig for our supporters and items. 2 copies of Max Potion because we can Fairy Transfer off and heal up our Giratinas, making them even more resilient. 2 copies of Fighting Fury Bell as opposed to Muscle Band because, we're going to be 2-shotting a lot of things in this deck, and 10 more damage really isn't going to change that math all that much. We're going to play 1 copy of Enhanced Hammer just to help knock off our opponent's special energies and help that Giratina lock get into place. 1 copy of Super Odd to shuffle things back into the deck. 1 Startling Megaphone to knock off those troubling bursting balloons. Maybe some Focus Ashes, things like that. We're playing 1 copy of Escape Rope. This is, again, another tech to help with Jolteon because Jolteon is such a threat to a lot of these decks. For stadiums, we're playing 3 copies of Fairy Garden. That's pretty much all you need. Hopefully you can win that stadium war, so just use them sparingly and use them, use them to counter other stadiums, or when you absolutely have to retreat. You really don't want to drop this thing first and wait and burn it and waste it because of that. Energy is pretty self-explanatory. It's 4 Double Dragon energies and 7 Fairy energies. That's going to be it for that deck. Stay tuned here really quick. We're going to do a quick cut, and then you'll see us pop back in for the next Giratina variant. Giratina variant 2. This is like the 3rd time I put this deck up on the channel, but it's another edition of the Giratina Reshiram deck that's a little bit quicker in my testing than the other variants I put on the channel. So we're gonna go through it quickly because we kind of know from the other videos. You can check out any of those other videos; they will be on the channel as well. So we have 3 Giratina EX as our main attacker in the deck. We've got 2 Shaman EX to set up, 2 Shaman EX to help set up, 2 Hydreigon EX can help us get around Jolteon, and also 2 of them give all of our dragons in our deck free retreat, including Giratina, which is nice. 2 Hoopa EX, because we're playing a lot of EX cards in this deck, and Hoopa EX allows us to go snag them up. We're playing 1 Latios EX, because Latios EX lets us just donk certain decks off, like Night March. And then we're playing 4 copies of Reshiram for the Turbo Blaze ability. That Turbo Blaze ability is very, very important, so that's why we're playing it. Into our supporters. Hold on, cut. Alright, so for supporters in this deck, we've got 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, 2 copies of Lysander, 1 copy of AZ, 1 copy of Hex Maniac, 1 copy of Zero Sick, and 1 copy of Judge. For items, 4 copies of Ultra Ball again, 4 copies of Versus Seeker, pretty standard. Thing that helps this deck be really fast is 4 copies of Max Elixir, 3 copies of Trainer's Mail, 2 copies of Switch, 2 copies of Muscle Band, 1 Escape Rope for Jolteon, 1 Startling Megaphone, and 1 Enhanced Hammer. For our, this Enhanced Hammer could also be, theoretically could also be a Super Rod if you want it to be. Just depends on what you're up against. 3 copies of Skyfield for our stadium because we have a lot of stuff that need to be on the bench. 4 copies of Double Dragon Energy, and 7 copies of Fire Energy in order to round out the deck. So that's going to be it for this build. Thank you guys so very much for coming out and watching both of these deck profiles. I do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on all the content we put out on this channel, whether it be Let's Plays or Pokemon Showdown videos or whatever it is. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. You guys are why I do this, aside from just having a ton of fun with Pokemon in general. So thank you guys so much for coming out and watching. I really, really, really do appreciate it. I will catch you guys next time. With all that being said, this is Pallet Town Smeargle signing out.